Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops.
Hey guys, if Canelo beats Triple G, if he beats him, then Canelo makes a strong case to be the best.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest greatest in boxing. It goes down September 16th, and I got to give it to Team Canelo and Golden Boy because they got it done. A lot of doubts because of what's happened. And see, this is the thing. Some people, oh, you're hating, and it's not nothing to do with hating, with me at least. I can't speak for anyone else. But I go off of patterns, and the pattern was, don't hold your breath for this fight, Canelo versus Golovkin, because we don't know if it's going to happen. But moving onward and upward, I give props to Golden Boy and Canelo because they stood their ground. There were some things said. De La Hoya was on First Take a while ago, and he says, it will happen. It will happen. You know what I mean? You know how De La Hoya talks. And he said the fight will happen, and it's happening. So I don't have any complaints. They said it would happen in September. It's happening in September. And we've already got the promotion. We already did the face-off. It's not like Canelo beat Chavez Jr. and then they still got to go to the negotiating table and sign contracts or drafts. No, that was all dealt with apparently before the Chavez Jr. fight was even concluded. That's why they had that W. Boom, 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 boom. And he walked out, started dancing. Golovkin was happy. You could see it in his face. He was dancing and did a little George Jefferson strut on the way out. I think Ed McMahon, or was Vince McMahon, used to do that too. I'm saying Ed McMahon, Star Search. Vince McMahon used to have that kind of like that bop to his walk. Yeah, Golovkin was feeling it. He's like, yeah, hey, no, guys, getting this payday now. You know what I mean? So it's all good, but I give props to Golden Boy for getting it done, and Canelo for accepting. And that's just what it is. Like, this is a fight that boxing needs. And I think Golovkin said that. He's like, this is not just for me and him, it's for the public. And I agree with that. I think this is a fight that was desperately needed for boxing, because now is the time. You know what I mean? You're gonna keep waiting and someone looks vulnerable. That's already happened. You know what I mean? People said Golovkin looked vulnerable in his last two fights. Maybe that's why this fight is happening. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? Someone looks vulnerable, takes a loss, and then the stock for that fight just keeps going down and keeps dwindling down. That's how it happens. There were great fights that could have been made at some point, and now those fights make no sense. For example, Gamboa was supposed to fight Mikey Garcia. That was the big to-do. Before Terrence Crawford knocked out Gamboa, that was the fight, right? And also Gamboa versus Juan Lopez. I wouldn't even want to watch that now. That's like an exhibition fight that I probably would miss. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to see it. Gamboa's getting stopped by Robinson, Castellanos, and guys who lost all their big fights to Mikey Garcia, Orlando Salido, and Gary Russell Jr.'s upcoming opponent, Escandon. I wouldn't even want to see Gamboa and Mikey Garcia because I already know what happened. Especially now, Mikey Garcia, he looked reinvigorated. He's a champion, knockout power. I mean, if Gamboa can't get past Robinson, then how's he going to get past Mikey Garcia at this point? You know what I mean? Same thing with Juan Lopez. I'm not trying to see that. So I think they did the right thing by capitalizing, seizing the moment. People are talking about it. And it wasn't making Canelo look good. You know what I mean? Just the whole giving up the belt and that kind of stuff. But moving on, this fight is a reality now. And De La Hoya talked to ESPN Deportes. And this is another thing, De La Hoya kept his word. And it's hard because the promoters, that's their job to promote. So they're never really going to say anything bad about their fighters. So you don't know what's truth. What we talking about, you know what I mean? You don't know what's fact or fiction. And one thing De La Hoya said that turns out to be true is he said, Team Golovkin, don't take that Billy Joe Saunders fight in June because we have investors, we have networks, and whoever else on board, and they want to start promoting this fight immediately. immediately, you know what I mean? Right after Canelo Chavez Jr. outcome. And he was not lying, because literally, right after Canelo versus Chavez Jr., they called out, called Golovkin out. So props to De La Hoya for that, because he wasn't lying. If Golovkin would have took the June fight with Billy Joe Saunders and risked injury or whatnot, it wouldn't have made sense. And I told you guys something was fishy with Team Golovkin's story regarding that. They were saying all of a sudden he was sore and injured. So that goes down. I don't care what no one says. That goes down. That's a strike against Team Triple G in terms of just integrity. Because I'm very happy that we're getting Canelo Golovkin. Make no mistake. Like I'm not quoting Funk Flex because he said that stuff about Tupac, but make no mistake about it, I'm very happy this fight, Canelo versus Golovkin, is happening. And I understand why it's happening over maybe an undisputed unification with like a Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders didn't even look good in his last fight versus Wolverine. Hey, Berserker Barrage, go watch Logan. You know what I mean? We know that. So I understand this fight trumping, superseding a fight with Billy Joe Saunders from a business perspective, but that is not what Team Triple G said they were in it for. They criticized, in fact, Canelo for fighting Amir Khan and for fighting Liam Smith and Floyd for fighting Conor McGregor, even though that's not even a signed, sealed, and delivered type of deal. And they said, no, business fight, big production, you know what I mean? And they said it was a business move. So and they came in the game saying like this noble attitude, like, we want to unify. That's our only goal, to unify the belts, become undisputed. And truth be told, that's not the case, because you had the chance to unify with Billy Joe Saunders, but you opted out. And I told you guys that story was fishy. People said Frank Warren was lying when he said he was informed that he was injured. No, they were pursuing this fight, clearly. They said it took 2 weeks to get it done, whatever. But they listened to De La Hoya when he said, don't make that Billy Joe Saunders fight. I'm telling you, make that Billy Joe Saunders, it's a wrap. We're not fighting you in September. It's not enough time to promote. And De La Hoya and Golden Boy stood their ground, and Team Triple G, they succumbed and they gave into that. And like I said, I told you something was fishy, but the merit behind it, the principle of what Team Golovkin said they stood for in terms of, we only want to unify. Abel Sanchez has an interview right now. My dude, KO Artist Sports, did it. It's an exclusive interview. And Abel Sanchez says, we're not really looking for the redhead. If there's a deal that Golovkin likes and we can make it, then we'll make it. But we're not checking for the redhead. We want to fight Billy Joe Saunders in June and basically become undisputed. And then we might even move out of the division to 168. That's what Abel Sanchez, Golovkin's trainer, said. But obviously there were other plans. Again, I'm not crying, I'm not mad, because I would rather see Canelo versus Golovkin. I'm just merely exposing and pointing out a hypocrisy and something that wasn't congruent with what Team Golovkin said. I'm happy that Golovkin is fighting Canelo as opposed to Billy Joe Saunders, because I rate Canelo higher than I rate Billy Joe Saunders, and it's a bigger fight for boxing. I'm just, again, pointing out the situation as it sits from what Team Golovkin said they were in it for and what they're down to do. That is not what came. They took, just like Floyd, you know what I mean? You can't, I gotta talk about the double standard, and then I'll get into the topic of this video. Now y'all got me going. You can't criticize Floyd Mayweather for fighting Pacquiao and then fighting Berto and saying, oh, business fight, or fighting Conor McGregor, knowing the man will get $100 million guaranteed to fight Conor McGregor, or something very close, like 80 million, probably 100 million. It's a big fight. Not big in terms of what its impact in boxing and it means the most, but it's big. Point blank period. You know the man will make a lot of money doing it. Same thing with Canelo. You criticize Canelo for fighting certain fights, and he's a businessman. And come to find out, it sounds like Team Golovkin is willing to do what every other fighter would do. Look after themselves, take care of themselves and their family, and do what makes the most financial sense, right? And I don't fault anybody for doing this. Is their livelihood. If I had an opportunity and someone said, hey, we'll cash you out, we'll give you $50 million to be on this TV show, as long as it doesn't go against my morals or, you know, some I'm not totally against, I would probably do it. You know what I mean? That's crazy money. You know what I mean? I have to look at the contract or whatever, but most people would do what benefits them in the most positive financial way. I talked to Sergey Kovalev. He had a roundtable, and he says he will fight anybody for that Mayweather and Pacquiao, the pay that they got in that fight. You know what I'm saying? And most people would, especially if you're a fighter, you would probably sell out. Kovalev might even fight like a Deontay Wilder. If they said, we're giving you $100 million, Kovalev, fight Wilder, he'll fight him. You know, he probably wouldn't last, but he'll fight him. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of how it goes. But you can't criticize Canelo for being an A-side and businessman, and you did the same thing. That's a fact. That's really what it boils down to. But back to De La Hoya's comments with ESPN Deportes. He wants his fighter to push for the knockout or to get a knockout. And I quote, De La Hoya says, "I'm looking for a knockout. I want the knockout because, first of all, I'm a boxing fan. Of course, I am a promoter who is looking at the business aspect, and that is very clear because it is something that benefits everyone. But as a simple boxing fan, what I want to see is a great fight, a classic fight, and I want to see a knockout. Why? Because that's what people want to see." And you can't really dispute that. People do like that. They like that bloodlust and the gladiator. You know what I mean? I love a good knockout. Who doesn't? De La Hoya went on to say, "There will always be critics. That is logical and necessary. But I've always told Canelo that for every critic that you have 1 million followers who support you. That's why I think the more critics there are, the more fans that support you." That's what De La Hoya was saying. And I think it's a good fight, man. I'm really looking forward to it. As far as, I don't think Canelo should push for a knockout if it's not there. I don't think any fighter should do that. But De La Hoya also went on to talk about where Canelo should be ranked if he in fact does beat Golovkin. And De La Hoya says he has to be in the top 3, so I see him. And winning Golovkin, no doubt, is going to be number 1. This is the Canelo era. It is time of Canelo. And in addition, he is just beginning his career because he is very young still, and he's only 26 years old. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Is Canelo in your top 3 right now? And if he beats Golovkin, does that make him number 1? You certainly have to rank him. He has to be top 5, I would probably say. I don't know if he would be top 1. Nah, I don't know. I don't know that I would put that. But hey, I mean, he makes a strong case. He's pound for pound worthy if he beats Golovkin, especially if he knocks him out like De La Hoya is requesting. You know what I mean? Canelo's a beast though. Clearly the A side, clearly focused on his craft, clearly working to improve as a young man, 26. He seems dedicated. Actually, it's funny because he's always been pretty mature, and I never really seen the Chavez Jr. Effect where he was just mad sloppy and stuff like that. But earlier in his career, I seen him in his off season, like pictures and stuff and video, and his weight was fluctuating in his off season. He was getting out of shape, right? Immediately after the Floyd Mayweather loss, I had the video up here somewhere on the channel, but he looked kind of pudgy. You know, maybe see if I can put it into this video, but he got kind of big. I don't know if the loss just, you know what I mean, first pro loss, and he just felt like eating or something. I don't know. But ever since that point, he's been disciplined. He's been a student of the game, and I got to respect that. But let me know where you would rank Canelo if he does in fact beat Golovkin, which that's a good fight. But one question I do have that I posed in a previous video, and I'm going to do it again in this video for the new viewers that maybe didn't get to see that video, is Canelo seems to be going through some kind of debacle, some kind of episode or dispute with the WBC. And the thing that's weird is he said basically if he fights Golovkin, which he probably knew he was, because he felt he was going to beat Chavez Jr. and he knew about the deal. I mean, they didn't just spring that up. Oh, hey, you beat Chavez. Guess who's here? Golovkin, huh? You know what I mean? So he must have knew about it. And Canelo was very smart because he didn't give nothing away. And he says, if I fight Golovkin, the WBC belt won't be involved, right? So the only thing that's kind of concerning, and this was my question, is let's say Canelo does beat Golovkin, hypothetically, and that's no give me fight. Golovkin is a beast, and Golovkin has a lot of strengths. Clearly, he looked bigger to me when I seen them next to each other. So it's no walk in the park. But hypothetically, right? Let's say Canelo beats Golovkin in an emphatic fashion, right? He would then be, if that happens, because Golovkin does have his old WBC belt that he vacated, he would be one click away from being undisputed at middleweight. So it's weird. It's almost like Canelo would be at a loss to not take the WBC belt, because that means, if to me, put it this way, I'm gonna cut the fat. If Canelo beats Golovkin, I clearly pick him to beat Billy Joe Saunders, right? And if he beats Golovkin, if he accepts all the belts, then that means he needs one belt, just like Golovkin needs one belt to be undisputed, right? So it'd almost be a waste if Canelo beats Golovkin, refuses the WBC belt, and then fights Billy Joe Saunders, because even if you fight him and beat him then, but you didn't accept the WBC belt, then guess what? You're not undisputed because you don't have all the belts. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Maybe the Canelo Alvarez WBC situation can be mended some kind of way, but it really seems like a waste if Canelo beats Golovkin and doesn't accept the belt, because, like I said, if he beats Golovkin, I'm picking the winner of this fight to beat Billy Joe Saunders, whether it's Golovkin or Canelo. You get me? So if Canelo, who seemingly has this problem with the WBC because the way he was treated in the vacating situation last September, if he doesn't accept the belt, then that's kind of, to me, like, it just feels like a waste, because you could be undisputed, and Terrence Crawford and Golovkin are about the closest that I can think of off the top of my head to being undisputed. But obviously, if you being the A side, you automatically just get a Golovkin fight, which is happening September 16th, then why not go for it? You know what I mean? Well, just accept the belt. But, you know what I mean? Canelo seems like a very prideful person, and he don't like the way things have been looking shaky, baby, with the WBC. So I don't know what he'll decide, but that's just my thoughts, my 2 cents, just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. We have a great fight in September. I will be covering this fight, giving you all the details, the Ego Weight Watchers, the first look, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.